Nico Iamaleava and Tino Sunseri, a match made in college football heaven. Here's why.
You are Locked On UCLA, your daily podcast on the UCLA Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome, everybody, to this bonus episode edition of Locked On UCLA. I'm your host, Zach Anderson-Yoxsimer, joined by Jacob Goins of Locked On Hoosiers. Can't even say it. As we get ready to rock and roll, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for making this show your first listen each and every day. Like, comment, subscribe, download. What we're talking about, the whole basis of this show, Nico and Tino. The importance of that relationship will make or break UCLA's future under Deshaun Foster, really. This year is going to make the difference between trendy recruiting pickups, Nico's future, his future decision, and I think it is going to work. Jacob, I'm getting right into it. What do we know from Tino that supports or denies my claim?
Well, I go back to when the news broke, even before the season was over, that Tino Sunseri was going to be leaving Indiana to move to UCLA. And some people said, well, why would you do that? You're leaving a really good team. They just came out of nowhere. You've got Curt Cignetti, right? And remember, Tino was with Curt Cignetti at James Madison, so he's been with him for quite some time. People would say, well, why would you go from Indiana to UCLA? Well, A, it's UCLA and it's Los Angeles, but B, he got to move from the co-offensive coordinator position to the offensive coordinator position. And he's still coaching the quarterbacks, of course, and a guy that's a former quarterback himself. He played at Pittsburgh in college. He played in the pros a little bit. And everywhere he's been and every quarterback that he's had his hands on, they have been really, really good. And so if there is a guy that can help Nico Iamaleava, who's just uber talented, yes, but is just extremely raw, it is Tino Sunseri. And I go back to when this news broke, like I mentioned before the season was even over, and I texted you and I said, I hate you. Because
I remember that.
I love Tino Sunseri, man. I hated to lose this guy. And thankfully, he coached throughout the end of the season and into the college football playoff. But man, it was just such a big deal. And there were so many Hoosiers fans because I made a big deal about it on my show. And they were like, he's just a quarterback's coach. Why are you so upset? Why are you making a big deal? Like, it's whatever. We'll replace him. I was like, folks, I'm telling you, this guy's different. I truly believe, Zach, that Tino Sunseri will be a head coach in college football. I think he's that good. And when you talk about somebody that could be a perfect match for Nico Iamaleava right now, I think Tino Sunseri fits the bill.
The big deal when Nico in the spring was leaving Tennessee, they're like, you're leaving a great offensive mind. Well, Tino seemingly is building his way into a name that we just don't know about. I'm going to compare this. Maybe you know the name, maybe you don't. UCLA under Chip Kelly made the hire of D'Anton Lynn. Obviously, he's the defensive coordinator at USC. He was a guy kind of unproven, clearly led one of the best UCLA defenses in recent memory, if not arguably all time. That's a very rough statement to go up, but like that was a dominant defense in 2023 when D'Anton Lynn was in charge, and then he got poached by USC. This is somewhat similar, and I think Tino is more proven because he's been around Curt Cignetti. And Curt comes out and says, we win. Well, why does he win? His supporting cast. Who did he bring with him? Tino, who is a younger coach. D'Anton only stayed 1 year. I think the best/worst case scenario is Tino stays 1 to 2 years at UCLA. And if he does, he's either really good or really bad. Eric Bieniemy lasted 1 year, and we were wanting him gone after 6 months. Now, was it rough because he had the cupboard bare after Chip Kelly left and it was just like lack of recruiting? Sure. But it was Eric Bieniemy's almost last chance to be an offensive coordinator. It didn't cut out with this complicated scheme. What I liked what Tino said at practice, he's going to adapt to his players. It's not like it's my way or the highway. It's I'm going to see what Nico does well, and I'm going to go for it, which is what you want from a younger coach, an adaptability and a mindset that evolves with the sport.
Yeah, and look, Tino took a guy from the MAC, okay, and Curtis Rourke, who was playing at Ohio University, playing for the Bobcats. Nothing wrong with playing in the MAC, but you took him, put him in the Big Ten, and between Tino and Curt Cignetti, they put him as a Heisman contender. I firmly believe that if Curtis Rourke doesn't get hurt last year and plays down the stretch hurt as well, I think he was sitting in New York for a Heisman ceremony. I truly believe that. I don't think he would have won, but I think he would have been
thumb
there
injury, right?
for
It was
that
that
award
thumb injury.
ceremony.
So how devastating was that thumb injury? Because we don't put that into consideration as to why Indiana lost those couple of games at Ohio State or in the playoff.
No, he wasn't 100%, and he admitted that, and it is what it is. You can't use it as an excuse. I think there was more to it than that. The guys up front were clearly better with the Buckeyes and the Irish than they were for the Hoosiers, and that's what you would expect, of course. But Curtis Rourke was still winning ball games and doing what he needed to do because of Curt Cignetti and, of course, because of Tino Sunseri. I mean, listen to the names that this guy has been around when he was a grad assistant or working his way up through the rankings. He coached Tua Tagovailoa. Remember that guy? He was incredible when he was at Alabama. Sure, he was good when he showed up, winning quarterback. Let's think about that for a second when Mac Jones was at Alabama. That guy sucks, but he made him a national champion at Alabama. Tino is an incredible hire for UCLA. I still believe, again, he's going to end up being a head coach somewhere. And the Hoosiers lost a good one when he left for UCLA. They're to Los Angeles. And if he can do it with those guys, he can do it with Nico Iamaleava.
The big thing for Nico was he went to Tennessee and said, hey, I want bigger, better support. And everybody kind of laughed at him and said, you're leaving Tennessee and going to UCLA. That's just the facts. If you're looking at the Knoxville News Sentinel, they're still trashing Nico. Any Tennessee page is trashing Nico for his decision. And now you're kind of looking at it and it's like, well, if you don't really see what UCLA has been building, it's not horrible. Obviously, you're losing the infrastructure and the stability that Tennessee brought from a playoff team a year ago. But you look at Tino, you're like, okay, the offense might be geared a little bit better towards Nico. What would you say Indiana's strengths or weaknesses were on the offensive line last year to what Tino could help protect Nico with this year, if that makes any sense?
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line was good last year for Indiana, but it wasn't great. I mean, it was good enough to win 11 games. It was good enough to beat the UCLAs and the Marylands and heck, even Michigans of the world. But when you went up against just that upper echelon, that next tier of college football teams, or heck, even the top tier, as we come to find out in Ohio State and Notre Dame, we just didn't have the dudes. And I think we will this year, but that's what Tino and this entire offensive staff are going to have to do is protect Nico, because he likes to get out and run. He likes to make plays on his own, but he also likes to make bad decisions. I saw enough of his time at Tennessee. He's extremely talented and has all the potential in the world for the big explosive highlight plays, but he's also got the potential for the disastrous bad decisions that get your team in trouble and put your defense behind the sticks. And all of a sudden you're down by 2 scores because of a bad play. If you can give him time, and I think let Nico just go through the progressions and know where he's going with the football before the play happens. And I think Tino does a great job at allowing his quarterbacks and teaching his quarterbacks to do that. Then I think Nico has a chance to be a really special player. We talked on the Big Ten squad this week about the quarterbacks who could lead the Big Ten in passing yards. And Nico Iamaleava has pretty good odds to be that person if he can find a couple of receivers to get the football to. And then, as you mentioned, have an offensive line that just give him enough time to do something. That's all he needs.
It's not like Indiana last year was rolling out 5-star linemen, right? It was a big transfer portal haul. And if UCLA, everybody wants to tout Illinois as the next Indiana. I think Illinois had a little more come and stay in power from one year to the next than Indiana did last year. UCLA, I'm not sure with their schedule, can do what Indiana did this last season in 2024 and get to a playoff. But you can be that trendy team where if Tino and Nico are slinging the ball all around, obviously you see all the numbers. Nico didn't throw touchdown passes against good SEC teams. That's what they're all going to throw. And Tennessee fans, probably weren't going to like that number. And now they're going to spit that number out laughing at UCLA. That's just the facts right now. But they're exciting. All of a sudden they become a trendy transfer team. There's already guys who are lining up to be the Nico teammates if he stays in 2026 and take discounts. It's so much between Tino and Nico that is tied together for their careers. This year is important for both of them. It's remarkable.
Well, let me ask you this, just from the UCLA perspective. I mean, have the fans gotten, or I guess it's a two-parter. Did the fans get hung up in all the drama that was surrounding and highlighting college football? And then part two to that is, are they over all the drama that was the highlight in the talk of college football?
Well, it's interesting in LA, there's always drama. There's always something, you think about it like
that town's built on that, I think.
It's
right?
built on it, right? And I would say for me, I definitely got hung up on it. I didn't necessarily want it. And the funny thing was, we can't forget, his younger brother was recruited to UCLA this year, flipped, and then transferred back. So there was some interesting things they had to work out before he came in. Maybe that it affected Nico, but clearly they got Nico first and brought Madden back. So I know there's not necessarily the best rep around his guys that are around him, whether, obviously, there's the everything talked about his dad and what he went up to the coach or, those types of things. It's just, is that going to be annoying? Right now it's exciting. It's fun. And UCLA is the talk of the town. And Deshaun Foster already came up and said, we want the haters. We want the smoke. We want to earn the respect. Well, they got the national media talking about them in April. And that's not when college football is usually talking about UCLA football. That's just not in April. All right. Yep. And then you talk about earning the respect. You go get a guy who can throw the football all the way across the field with natural arm talent. That's clear. And it is, I believe, certainly an upgrade from Joey Aguilar. And whether you believe Blurgate out of Tennessee or not, which is not
Blurgate. Oh, no.
Which is clearly not like a real thing from what everybody said. But, that's what they're freaking out about. I just saw a Big Ten post and I had to troll so hard. I put, who's not blurring out their quarterback?
I saw that. I saw it. I did. I saw it. It was the Tennessee video where the dude threw a pick, but they blurred out the quarterback in the background. It's like, man, and you jumped on that with some nasty work of, well, you wouldn't have to blur out our quarterback. We know who's starting on this team. That was nicely done, sir.
That was so I think we're past that. Now, the thing is, they're not going to create. There's no drama right now. They're not going to create any drama. It's in November. Or if UCLA's 4-6 or 3-5, or if they are 9-1 and he's asking for a raise in funds, which may be revenue sharing or NIL or however it looks in a certain language in a few months, that's when I think it's going to kick up again. Or what happens if Madden, who could potentially be the quarterback to succeed Nico afterwards, if he doesn't get the job? I think that's where the drama is going to kick in. Right? Because this is how I think of the Iamaleava situation. Think of the Ball brothers. Lonzo went directly to UCLA, a little different than Nico's situation. Yeah. The Bruins had a great year. It was fun. Ended much earlier than it should have. That's how it happens.
Fair.
But then all the drama came afterwards with LiAngelo and them going to China, and then LaMelo never came. Yeah. For Nico, there's Madden in this school right now at UCLA. I think it might be a little different if he's going to stay a couple of years versus if Madden doesn't get the job. So there might be drama, but we might get all the fruits and the fun of it first. And then afterwards, we'll deal with that later. That's my thought.
Well, I think there will be some drama on October 25th, my friend, when you guys come to Bloomington and play the Hoosiers in a rematch of a game that really kicked off the Indiana season last year, where it was like, oh, we came to the Rose Bowl and it wasn't close. And it was like, wait a minute, what the heck just happened here? And then Indiana kicked it into high gear. I need a prediction from you, my friend. UCLA, what will their record be when you guys come to Bloomington on Saturday, October 25th? You play Utah, UNLV, New Mexico, Northwestern, Penn State, Michigan State, and Maryland. What is UCLA's record when they walk into Bloomington on October 25th?
I mean, they better already have 3 to 4 wins. They better already have 3 to 4 wins. New Mexico better be a win. Maryland better be a win. I'm hoping UNLV and Michigan State will be wins, so that should be at least 4. Mm-hmm. I am confident in UCLA's chances to compete against Utah. I am confident. I can understand Utah being favored. I can understand all of that. I can see it going both ways in that game. And Penn State, they don't even travel out of their own state, I believe, until they play UCLA in early October. Sure. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to be undefeated. I think that'd be foolish of me to say. I think minimum, if UCLA doesn't have at least 4 wins, I'd be shocked. At least 3 wins.
I think you guys could be 6-1. I'm not kidding. I mean, I hate a game at UNLV. You're asking for trouble there. A Utah opener is exciting, but dangerous too. But I think you're better than Northwestern, Michigan State, and Maryland. So yeah, there's a great chance you guys 6-1, 5-2.
Go tell that to Spencer McLaughlin. Go tell Spencer.
Spencer doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay. He's the host of Locked On Ducks. I don't give him any credit. I'm just kidding. He does a great job, but no, I think you guys are better than them. 5-2 minimum. And just to give you a reference here, 5-2 for you guys, let's just say kind of bottom side there. Indiana could be all over the place here. I mean, we start 3-0 with our horrible games. We have Illinois, Iowa, Oregon, and Michigan State before we play you guys. There's any combination of a record there. But if Indiana can get an upset over Oregon or just beat the teams they're supposed to, this matchup in Bloomington could be very, very interesting for possible dark horse for the college football playoff as a 3rd or 4th team out of the Big Ten, folks. Keep your eye out for Indiana and UCLA on Saturday, October 25th here in Bloomington.
Absolutely. And if there's a 16-team playoff, that'd be the automatic 4th bid in the Big Ten if they make that happen.
There it is. That'd
be funny, but that will be a huge one. One of many intriguing games on UCLA's. I mean, it's going to be what? UCLA games, Tennessee fans watching UCLA games, watching Nico. And then
they're cheering against him, right? They're cheering against Nico. Yeah,
I would 100% believe it. From what I've read in the news outlets, they're trash talking UCLA already. Attendance, this. I'm like, oh my goodness, you're in Knoxville. What are you doing? You treated me well when I went there both times. Like,
I love college football, man. It's incredible. It's one of the greatest sports on earth, and college basketball too.
Well, I can't wait for college basketball season as well. College football, we'll talk all about that. We're gonna have you on again for sure to talk UCLA, Indiana when we get up to it. Jacob, thanks for coming on. Appreciate you taking the time to come on the show.
Yeah, man.
That is Jacob Goins of Locked On Hoosiers. We'll talk to him more. You'll see him on Big Ten Squad. He's the rational, reasonable one on the squad, me. Not Mark Colkin of SC, not Spencer, not even Brandon, our producer. No, it's Jacob. He's the other one. So I appreciate it. If you're trying to stay on top of your routine, whether that's workouts, long days on campus, or staying focused through back-to-back classes, hydration is where it starts. And that's where Drip Drop comes in, because Drip Drop is doctor-developed and scientifically proven for fast hydration. It uses the perfect balance of sodium electrolytes and glucose to help your body absorb fluids quickly, delivering 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of leading sports drinks. And if you're like, wait a minute, what am I going to do with Drip Drop? It's because you're sitting there. It's getting hot this week. Maybe you're at the beach. Maybe you got a bunch of things to do. It's a leading sports drink that keeps you hydrated. So go check out Drip Drop because it's become my go-to. Right now, Drip Drop is offering Locked On listeners 20% off your first order. Head to dripdrop.com and use the promo code LOCKEDONCollege. That's dripdrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONCollege for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard. And now it's time to talk about game time. We've all been there, logging on early, waiting forever for all those tickets to go on sale, whether it be concerts, for me trying to get tickets to postseason events in the sports world, or to lose a spot for a show you're dying to see, or maybe trying to go to a big game. Live music and live sports should be about making memories, not dealing with the stress of ticket shopping, and that's where game time comes in. You get into those concert tickets, you get those faster, you get them easier than ever. Prices, they drop closer to showtime or first pitch or tip-off, with 60% off in killer last-minute deals. Instead of scrolling endlessly, you see right away you can go by lowest price, best deal, highest price if you're a big roller, and those prices can get you zone deals in great spots right before the game goes. And with the panoramic seat view, you know exactly where you're seated. Take the guesswork out of buying concert and show tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Again, terms apply. Use the code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, Locked On College, for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Well, that's going to do it for us here on Locked On UCLA. Zach with you guys. Get your hands up, Bruins fans. We had Jacob Goins on, had a lot of guests. We're going to talk more UCLA football, basketball, all sorts of sports, moving on forward as we continue to move on to the offseason, closer to the beginning of football season. Hands up, Bruins fans. 8 clap time, baby. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. UCLA. UCLA, fight, fight, fight. This has been Locked On UCLA. Zach signing off. Go Bruins.